See.
Okay.
Vinit bhai. Start.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today's webinar on Economic Outlook on Naya Bharat, organized by Department of Commerce and Management of Bhagat Kavi Narsingh Mehta University. My name is Vinit Verma and I'm an assistant professor at the Department of Commerce and Management. We all know that 21st century is the century of knowledge. It is the century of technology as well. And today, at this pandemic of COVID-19, this technology has come out with a boon for all of us to encash this technology. Today, we are presenting a webinar on economic outlook on Naya Bharat. On behalf of Bhagat Kavi Narsingh Mehta University, I would like to say good morning to one and all present in this webinar. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor of Bhagat Kavi Narsingh Mehta University, respected Registrar Soni Sir, distinguished guest and today's our eminent speaker, Honorable Professor V.K. Malhotra Sir, Member Secretary, ICSSR New Delhi, Dr. Bhav Singh Dodia Sir, convener of this webinar and Head of Department of Commerce and Management, Bhagat Kavi Narsingh Mehta University, viewers from Facebook Live as well as Zoom, respected teachers, my dear students and participants. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming you all to the webinar on COVID-19 Economic Outlook for Naya Bharat. During this pandemic, where country is fighting against COVID-19 and whole world is trying to defeat it and trying to adjust itself with it, we at Bhagat Kavi Narsingh Mehta University also shown our caliber, capacity to move on. Such tough time under the leadership of young, dynamic personality and true motivator and head of our university, Professor Dr. Chetan Trivedi Sir, our own Vice Chancellor, who have motivated us to conduct this webinar. I would also like to welcome our Soni Sir, our Registrar of Bhagat Kavi Narsingh Mehta University. And we all know COVID-19 has divided the world into BC and AC, that is before Corona and after Corona. It has already affected everything, including our economic system. Today, in this webinar, we will try to unfold these issues in the present scenario. For this, I would like to welcome Honorable Professor V.K. Malhotra Sir. He is a Member Secretary of Indian Council Social Science Research, ICSSR, New Delhi. As a true academician and a well-wisher of this fraternity, Sir has shown his interest to contribute his precious time to share his view on today's topic. We are really thankful to you, Sir. I welcome the man behind the show, Dr. Bhav Singh Dodia, convener of this webinar, Head of Department of Commerce and Management, as well as our valuable participants, viewers who have registered in large number to enroll this benefit. I would also like to welcome all our participants. I'm sure that you all will feel enriched with the knowledge after completion of this event. I welcome you all once again to this webinar. Hope that you all will have a fruitful time ahead. Thank you all. Now, I would like to request Dr. Bhav Singh Dodia, Associate Professor, Head Department of Commerce and Management, to give introductory concept of today's webinar and a brief introduction of our chief guest, Professor V.K. Malhotra. Over to you, Dodia sir.
Good morning to all. Audible now? Good morning to all. Honorable Professor Dr. Chetan Trivedi Sir, Vice Chancellor, Bhagat Kavi Narsingh Mehta University, Junagadh. Equally Honorable Professor Virendra Kumar Malhotra Ji, Member Secretary, Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi. My colleagues, Dr. Dinesh Chavda, Ms. Anitaba Gohil, Mr. Vinit Verma, and dear participants and viewers. It is a matter of good pleasure for the Department of Commerce and Management for the organizing the first national level webinar. Before starting webinar, I would like to introduce our eminent keynote speaker, Professor Virendra Kumar Malhotra Ji. Professor Virendra Kumar Malhotra Ji is a Member Secretary, ICSSR, New Delhi. He is head and professor in CCS University, Meerut, in head and professor in economics. Each student has done PhD under his guidance, and more than 40 MPhil scholars completed MPhil under his supervision. He has published more than 15 international research papers. He is also member of the Indian Council of the World Affairs and also visitors nominee to the court of JNU, New Delhi. He is also the member of Social Science Research Institute of the India. He is also a part of executive bodies of many international research associations. Now, I would like to share brief idea about the webinar. The today's topics of the webinar is Economic Outlook for the Naya Bharat COVID-19. The purpose of the selecting this title is the economic impact of the 2020 coronavirus pandemic in India has been largely disruptive. The World Bank and rating agencies had initially downgraded India's growth for fiscal year 2021. With the lowest figures India has seen in 3 decades since India's economic liberalization in 1990. However, after the announcement of the economic package in mid-May, India's GDP estimates were downgraded even more to negative figures, signaling a deep recession. Within a month, unemployment rose from 6.7% on 15 March to 26% on the 19th April. During the lockdown, an estimate 140 million people lost employment. More than 45% of the households across the nation have reported an income drop as compared to the previous year. Government also announced a complete package worth rupees 20 lakh crore to deal with the economic crisis due to the COVID-19. This will play an important role in the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, said that the announcement made by the government. So far, the decision of the RBI and today's package aid to the 20 lakh crore or 10% on the GDP of the India. Thank you and have a nice day ahead. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you want me to start straight away? Or there is somebody, your Vice Chancellor will speak for a few minutes, or should I be starting straight away? Your Vice Chancellor will speak, or I should be starting right now?
Sir, you should right now.
Okay.
Because he is busy right now. That is your, you will join the within short period.
Okay. Let me know what kind of a student population do you have? Should I be speaking in English or Hindi? Which language would you prefer me to speak?
Sir, Hindi or English, both languages are involved.
Okay. Because it should be to the benefit of the students and the participants. I'm told that nearly 2,000 people have got registered, right?
Yes, sir.
So thank you, all organizers from Bhakt Kavi Narsim Mehta University, Junagadh. Right, it's my first interaction with their faculty of commerce and management, and maybe I would be listening to the views of your Vice Chancellor today also. Let me congratulate you for selecting a very nice theme, which is very, very relevant these days. And the whole nation is really concerned about the kind of things which have happened in the recent past, the kind of problem. Hello, is it audible? Is it audible?
Yes, sir, it is audible. Yes, sir.
Okay, because the screen went blank, and that is why I thought that I should be. Anyway, so you have definitely selected a very relevant theme. COVID-19 is a very, very, let's say, pertinent and hot issue these days. And people are bothered about what is going to be the scenario, not only in one country of the world like India, but all across the world. Uh, there are a number of things that are happening and that may happen even in near future, in fact. And it is both a challenge to most of the countries, and it also comes as an opportunity for many things and in many contexts. The whole issue has to be looked in that light. Uh, COVID-19, your topic as it speaks itself, COVID-19 economic outlook for the Naya Bharat. So you want me virtually to speak about 2, 3 important dimensions, one being COVID-19, the other being economic outlook, and the third contour of the topic being Naya Bharat. So these are 3 basic dimensions of the issue that need to be understood and how they are interlinked also. We all know, you know, that this problem had a beginning towards November, December 19, and this is why it is termed as 19 itself. Uh, since I represent ICSSR, which is the apex agency for social science researchers in the country, I know very recently we went for a call to invite research proposals from all across the country. And we gave this call in the context of COVID-19 itself and its socio-economic, political, or maybe psychological fallouts. And I'm very happy to see that number of proposals from all across the country have been received. And there is hardly any major institution where from we have not received the proposals. Let me, for those of you, I mean, especially this lecture, which would take around 35 to 40 minutes, will be largely centered on the student population, in fact, of your university, or maybe the student population which may join from outside Bhatt Kavi Narsim Mehta University as well. So let me begin on a note, again thanking your university to give me an opportunity to interact with your faculty and your student population. We all know COVID-19 or coronavirus is a world known disease now. It has been declared pandemic, and we understand the meaning of pandemic also by the WHO. तो WHO ने इसको पेंडेमिक डिसीज डिक्लेयर किया है, जिसका मतलब है कि दुनिया के डिफरेंट कॉर्नर्स में इस जो डिसीज का स्प्रेड है वो काफी बड़ा है ना. So much so that nearly 190 countries have been covered or have been the population in 190 countries have been infected by this disease. I read out a statement from the WHO literature itself. COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by the newly discovered coronavirus. Most people infected with COVID-19 virus will experience mild to moderate respiratory illness and recover without requiring special treatment. Older people and those with underlying medical problems like cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases, and cancer are more likely to develop serious illness. This is the line issued from the WHO. Right. We all know, I will not go into, let's say, the complexity of the very description of the disease itself. I'll come to the economic, social, political, and let's say our life and policy related dimensions of the disease. And as you want me or expect me to connect it with economic outlook and Naya Bharat, I was listening carefully to what Dr. Dodia was saying when he said the number of issues have been raised. They relate to migration, employment, economic recovery, kinds of things. Since I have been a student of economics myself, so I have a very special interest in talking about these things also. Let me talk about a little statistics in the beginning itself, just to give an idea of what kind of disease it is and what kind of serious dimensions it might possess. For the benefit of the student, I'll keep switching over to Hindi also, because either language I will not have much of a problem, because the idea is whatever we intend to communicate must reach the targeted community or targeted population of the student in a much better manner, and they must be in a position to comprehend what is being discussed. uh, मैंने आज सुबह ही थोड़ा सा स्टैटिस्टिक्स देखा यहाँ बातचीत करने से पहले, एंड आई नोटिस्ड that right now nearly 59 lakh people in the world are suffering from this disease. And the total number of deaths so far has been nearly 3,73,000. And there have been 26 lakh cases in which recovery has also been registered. There is no continent of the world which is not affected by the disease. Whether we talk of, we know all, when we talk of America, we talk of Northern America and Southern America. So I'm putting it as Americas, which includes both Northern as well as Southern America. Asia and different parts of Asia, whether we talk of Far East Asia or Southeast Asia, right? Or we talk of Central Asia. So all countries are again affected by the COVID-19. Be that Pacific, that is also suffering from the disease. We have seen Europe. We have also taken note of Africa also suffering somewhere, or many countries in Africa. Some countries might have little or lesser incidence of the suffering, but suffering is all pervasive in fact, and it is already covered more than 185 to 190 countries. If I talk of, because there have been concerns, and I wrote recently a note for the ministry also, which was circulated and discussed, and it was about what happened in 1918 when S1N1 kind of a virus is spread in the entire world, which was termed as Spanish flu. In fact, though the term given to it, as it was called Spanish flu, was not perfectly okay, because it was called Spanish flu in a definite context. World War उस समय चल रहा था, and many countries were not revealing their statistics or their data about the people suffering from Spanish flu then, or the flu then, or H1N1 as it is termed as. And that is why they were keeping a secret of it. तो ज्यादातर लोगों की जानकारी के लिए कि उस समय करीब करीब जो पूरी दुनिया थी उसका वर्ल्ड 1/3 33% पॉपुलेशन उससे सफर किया, and there were crores of people who died in 1918 pandemic, and almost 1/5 of the total population that suffered to the extent of death. Of that, 20% or more than 20% was constituted by India. So it had serious, let's say, effect on India then also in 1918. And I'm reminded, since I went through that literature myself, and I did notice the Bombay, which is said to be suffering the most in the country right now, did suffer the most in 1918 as well. So there are few issues that must definitely be raised, and that are being raised somewhere in some quarters by the intelligentsia of the country, maybe by people who keep reading, and they are raising those issues in media. Even the very sensible and very sensitive governments, as we have presently in India, the government and the government quarters itself and their policy makers are also raising all those pertinent issues. So looking at this total numbers, there is the normal assumption that the developed countries which have a very good health infrastructure, which have very good health and hygiene practices of the people, they should be suffering less. That's the basic idea. And there was a view in 1918 which was formed. Number of research papers on that view came out also, and they got published not only way back in 1920s, but they were kept published till very recently. And even in the wake of COVID-19, those papers have been revisited and those papers have been rewritten also in certain ways, and some of the papers have been updated also. I remember when British government was there in 1918 here, their version was that pandemic H1N1 had a very deep impact on India because the fact that Indians suffered from very poor health and hygiene practices. That was the version of the government, because government was from UK or Britain, and that is why they hardly had any concerns for the Indians then. And as a result of that, 20% of the total deaths or fatality was constituted by India itself. So that in itself was a big concern, and they put the entire blame on health and hygiene practice of the Indian population. तो सभी लोगों के मन में एक बात जाती है कि साहब कि किसी कंट्री में जिसमें हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अच्छा है, वो डेवलप्ड है, लोगों की हेल्थ और हाइजीन की प्रैक्टिसेस अच्छी हैं, तो वहाँ इसका इम्पैक्ट कम होगा. तो आई स्पीक फ्रॉम द करंट स्टैटिस्टिक्स ओनली. यूएसए के अंदर आज की तारीख में, आज सुबह जब मैंने देखा तो 17,68,000 केसेस हैं, 17,68,000, और टोटल डेथ more than 1 lakh, 1,03,000 and precisely. UK में I was amazed to see the total number of death is 37,800. In Italy, it is 33,000, France 28,000, Brazil it is 27,000, and India has also somewhere come so far as the infection, the number of people getting infected by the disease is concerned. India has come among top 10 or 11 countries, though saying top 10 or 11 will not be a good thing right now here, but still we have to understand and accept the reality as it exists. So India, we are noticing right now the total number of affected people are 1,65,000, and total number of deaths so far has been 4,711. I put this statistics in two contexts. So right now I'm trying to explain COVID-19 itself and its impact on the world and India. And then I'll come to economic outlook, and then I'll try to talk about Naya Bharat also. So this is how these three issues have to be interconnected, in fact. So in India, we have noticed, if we look at this statistics, 4,700, I will not speak about number of research papers that have been written related to different kinds of modeling and where predictions have been done that what would be India's position in next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and when we are expecting to get rid of the disease impact in the country. So these are vital concerns. We understand how many people, there is a very serious question, and nobody knows the answer of that question because all models are based on certain assumptions. And when I say all models are based on certain assumptions, I'm trying to say if very assumptions of the model go wrong, then statistics or the findings of that model are again going to be completely disproved, right? And nature definitely works not exactly in tune with what we expect it to work as. It definitely works much differently from what we assume it or how we assume it to work, right? So in India, I've already said that till date, there are 1,65,000 confirmed cases and 4,700 deaths. Taking this statistics on the basic parameters itself, we can say so far as mortality rate is concerned or fatality rate is concerned, we have 2.5 to 3% as the fatality rate of the disease in the country. A number of models have said that this statistics in coming 1 or 2 months may touch 15 lakh, 16 lakh or 17 lakh. we see that every day, I mean, those of us who have been watching this statistics little carefully must be observing it, that in last 10 to 15 days, पिछले 10 से 15 दिन में करीब 6,500 से 7,000 केस रोज बढ़ रहे हैं और करीब 2 से 3,000 केस रिकवरी में भी जा रहे हैं। अच्छी बात यह है कि इंडिया के केस में जो रिकवरी का रेट है वो काफी हेल्दी है ना। उसके नंबर ऑफ एक्सप्लेनेशंस हैं, मैं शायद इस समय को उस पर नहीं लगाना चाहूंगा। तो दूसरी बात है, मैंने दुनिया का जो स्टैटिस्टिक्स ऑब्जर्व किया उसमें सभी जगह की स्टैटिस्टिक्स को हम देखें और नंबर ऑफ डेथ्स को देखें तो वहाँ जो फैटेलिटी रेट है वो लगभग टोटल नंबर जो जिन लोगों को इन्फेक्शन हुआ है उनके कंपैरिजन में देखें तो करीब 4 से 5% पड़ जाता है। और यदि हम उस स्टैटिस्टिक्स को रिकवरी रेट के कंपैरिजन में थोड़ा देखें तो ये रेट फिर काफी और ज्यादा दिखाई देता है। In Indian context, if we talk about this statistics, then 2.5 to 3% is the current rate of fatality of the disease, and nearly 7% is in terms of the recovered cases. So putting statistics across India and the world, we would observe that India seems to be performing much better than the world has performed so far. Many developed countries, और मैंने पहले ही कहा कि हमारा नॉर्मल assumption ये है कि जो डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज हैं जहाँ हेल्थ और हाइजीन की प्रैक्टिसेस बहुत अच्छी हैं, जहाँ हेल्थ का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बहुत अच्छा है, क्योंकि आपके ध्यान में होगा जब शुरुआत में इस पर बातचीत हुई तो सभी लोगों ने कहा कि इंडिया का हेल्थ का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर काफी पुअर है, हमारे यहाँ वेंटिलेटर्स का भी इंतजाम पूरा नहीं था, टेस्टिंग लैब का इंतजाम पूरा नहीं था। आज मैं देख रहा था कि करीब 1,10,000 से 15 या 20,000 केसेस रोज टेस्ट भी हो रहे हैं इस डिसीज के। तो वी हैव, मतलब देयर कुड बी नंबर ऑफ रीजंस। सही टाइम पर सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग की जो पॉलिसी गवर्नमेंट ने अडॉप्ट की बाय गोइंग अबाउट द लॉकडाउन एंड इन 3 कंसेक्यूटिव स्टेजेस ऑफ लॉकडाउन, आई थिंक इट वाज वेरी टाइमली। उस पर नंबर ऑफ पेपर्स हैं और वो इंडिया के नहीं है, वो वर्ल्ड में जो नंबर ऑफ पेपर्स आए हैं ऑक्सफोर्ड में, स्टैनफोर्ड में, लोगों के कलेक्टिव वर्क हैं जिसमें 1918 की पैंडेमिक और 2019 कोविड को कंपेयर करके भी जो पेपर्स लिखे गए हैं उनमें भी ये पाया गया कि जो का टाइमली और रिपीटेड लॉकडाउन होगा तो उसका इकोनॉमी के ऊपर तो असर हो सकता है, थोड़ा खराब है, लेकिन पेंडेमिक के कंट्रोल में और उसका जो कैजुअलिटी रेट है उसको रिड्यूस करने में वो डेफिनेटली बहुत बड़ा रोल प्ले करता है। अभी जब ये लॉकडाउन शुरू हुए तो लोगों ने तरह तरह से बातचीत की कि साहब ये कितने दिन का लॉकडाउन आइडियल होगा, ऑप्टिमम लॉकडाउन कितने दिन का होगा, वो 25 दिन का रहे, 30 दिन का रहे या उसके बाद 45 डेज पर जाए। किसी ने ये भी प्रेडिक्ट किया कि 79 डेज का लॉकडाउन जो है वो आइडियल होगा। अभी एक नया स्टडी आई जिसमें कहा गया कि साहब 3 से 4 लॉकडाउन और उसके बीच में 5-5, 6-6 दिन का इंटरवल ऑफ रिलैक्सेशन या ईजिंग या लिफ्टिंग ऑफ लॉकडाउन करके चला जाए तो शायद देशों के ऊपर कैजुअलिटी को देखते हुए या हेल्थ पोजीशन को देखते हुए उतना बड़ा असर ना पड़े। इंडिया में हम अभी जितना बड़ा पॉपुलेशन है, मैंने 18 की स्टैटिस्टिक्स इसलिए आपके सामने रखी कि 1918 में हम ये मान करके चल रहे हैं कि सभी देशों का जो प्रोग्रेस है या डेवलपमेंट है, यदि हम ये माने कि 18 से लेकर के 2019-20 तक वो डेवलपमेंट का रेट लगभग बराबर रहा और जितना एडवांस कंट्रीज के हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में या प्रैक्टिसेस में फर्क आया उतना 1918 से 2020 तक हमारे यहाँ भी आया। जो अगर हम उसको मान करके चलें तो मैंने पहले ही कहा कि हमारे यहाँ 1918 में पूरे वर्ल्ड के पॉपुलेशन ने जितना सफर किया और वो 1/3 था नियरली, उसका लगभग, और हमारे यहाँ लगभग 1/3 पॉपुलेशन उस पेंडेमिक से सफर किया। मैंने जो 1919 का इंडिया का मूवमेंट है आप पढ़ेंगे उसके अंदर, नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट के अंदर, वहां पाएंगे कि गांधी जी भी उस समय सफर किए उस पेंडेमिक से और उन्हें भी क्वारंटाइन के लिए जाना पड़ा वे बैक इन 1918। तो इस सारे सिचुएशन का हेल्थ एक डायमेंशन है. हम लोगों को we have been in a position to look at the health infrastructure in the country, the kind of relationship we have. A number of issues have come up. For example, one major issue is I said that I will not be in a position to talk about or talk at length and discuss at length all possible issues that may crop up or that may have cropped up. But the basic thing is, and that we should be really concerned about, is that number one, what should be the ideal health infrastructure to deal with such kind of health emergencies? That is one point. Second important issue is that where should, I mean, for public healthcare or in the interest of public healthcare, where should the onus or the responsibility go, public healthcare system or the private healthcare system, and how the two systems can combine together to deliver the goods to the population of a country, and what kind of model in future also we can think in terms of making. We understand, and we know that pretty well because all of us largely belong to the academic community, and we can appreciate this viewpoint that uh, that necessity is the mother of invention, and we have all noticed number of new things have come up. I know, and I'm part of a working group formed by the Ayush Ministry also of the Government of India. And we are working that how Ayush prescriptions have definitely helped people to cope with this disease, to reduce its effect or impact, in fact, on the health of the people. And it has helped them to avoid one, catching the very infection, and two, recovering from the infection and not going to the stage of ventilators and mortality. I'm very, very happy to share with you that less than 1% people in India so far have been found to be needing the emergency services in a public health system. So given these conditions, है ना, तो ये जो conditions हैं, वो हो सकता है हमारे immunity की वजह से उसका एक बड़ा कारण हो. हम लोगों ने सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन फॉलो किया है, वो भी एक बड़ा रीजन हो सकता है. हमारे यहाँ घरों में आयुष की डिफरेंट प्रैक्टिसेस को हम फॉलो करते हैं, जैसे काढ़ा पीते हैं या डिफरेंट हल्दी ले रहे हैं हम लोग, तो they can have definitely very good and positive impact in coping with the situation. Coming to economic outlook now, आपने बातचीत की थी डॉक्टर डोडिया ने कि जो डिफरेंट एजेंसीज हैं, रेटिंग एजेंसीज, वो इकोनॉमीज के बारे में अपना आउटलुक देती हैं for the benefit of the student and to tell them in a macro perspective. The basic understanding is that हम सब लोग जानते हैं 2007-8 से पूरी दुनिया रिसेशन से गुजर रही थी. हम रिसेशन भी ना कहें उनको टिपिकल टर्म्स में, तो हम स्लो डाउन तो डेफिनेटली कहेंगे कि 2007-8 से पूरी दुनिया स्लो डाउन से गुजर रही थी. There were serious concerns. We are talking about next election in United States, but in the last election in United States, the whole issue was controlling slowdown in the US economy and giving jobs to the Americans in their own economy. That is one thing. So the whole world was thinking in 19 or 18-19 that there has come a situation that world is definitely trying to find certain measures which could work against the slowdown or the recession in the world and could help in making a recovery in a fast mode for the entire world. 3-4 things which have come up very sharply, they would invite our attention. India में पिछले लंबे समय से हम growth rate को लेकर के काफी बातचीत करते रहे हैं, and that's a concern everywhere. We know in developed countries a growth rate of 2 to 2.5% is considered to be very healthy. In a developing economy like India, and especially an aspiring economy like India, why I'm using this word I explain little afterwards. In fact, India आज aspiring economy या society या polity है, and there are reasons behind that. I'll explain those reasons little afterwards. So growth rate is a vital concern. And when we say growth rate is a vital concern, I am trying to say that we became an economy till fifth five plan. We were an economy which was hardly in a position to achieve a growth rate of more than 3.5%, which was then termed as Hindu growth rate as well. We became an economy which not only went beyond that, achieved 5 to 6% growth rate. There were times that we could achieve even a growth rate of 7 to 8% also. And when Prime Minister of the country talked about converting the economy into a 5 trillion economy, in fact, we knew that we were talking in terms of achieving a consistent growth rate of 7.5 to 8% in the economy, and everybody believed that it is possible because India has been performing far below its potential levels. So it was definitely considered on the very premise of, or very assumption of the fact that India has more potentials or far greater potentials in terms of achieving growth rate than it has performed in the last 30-40 years. And a consistent growth rate of 7.5 to 8% would definitely help the economy to achieve the target of being the 5 trillion economy and maybe third or the fourth largest economy in plain GDP terms itself very shortly. But growth rate has been a vital concern. We know till 2018-19, our growth rate was around 7% on an average, or 6.8% on an average. And but last year we saw there was a decline in growth rate, and we were talking about it. Number of rating agencies to which a reference was made. दुनिया में जो रेटिंग एजेंसीज हैं वो दो तरह के काम करती हैं. एक तो कारपोरेट रेटिंग भी करती हैं, वो बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां. मैं जैसा आपने शब्द यूज किया आपने इसमें आउटलुक, तो आप नोटिस करेंगे जितनी बड़ी कंपनियां हैं वो अपने जब क्वार्टरली बेसिस के ऊपर अपने आउटलुक्स इशू करती हैं, और बोर्ड की मीटिंग जब भी करती हैं तो उसमें वो अपने आउटलुक, आप देखते होंगे कि इन्फोसिस का आउटलुक रेगुलरली आता है, टीसीएस का आउटलुक रेगुलरली आता है, और उसके बेसिस पर मार्केट, स्टॉक मार्केट और उनके अपने स्टॉक्स के फ्यूचर्स भी डिसाइड होते हैं. ऐसे ही जब देशों की रेटिंग की जाती है तो उसको हम सॉवरेन रेटिंग कहते हैं. सॉवरेन रेटिंग का मतलब है पूरी अर्थव्यवस्था को लेकर के, इकोनॉमी के मैक्रो सिचुएशन को लेकर के जो दुनिया की रेटिंग एजेंसीज हैं उनका व्यू कैसा है. रेटिंग एजेंसी का मतलब बड़े सामान्य भाषा में यह है कि आपकी क्रेडिट वर्दीनेस, यानी कि आपका कैसा क्रेडिट है ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी में. मैक्रो पैरामीटर्स में ग्रोथ एक बड़ा पैरामीटर है, आपका परफॉर्मेंस बड़ा पैरामीटर है. आपने जो लोन लिए पास्ट में, आपकी इकोनॉमी उनको कैसे पे बैक कर रही है. आपने जो अपने आप को टारगेट्स दिए डिफरेंट स्पेक्ट्रम्स पर, उसके अंदर आपका परफॉर्मेंस कैसा है. वो आपकी रेटिंग एजेंसी अपने डिफरेंट पैरामीटर्स में, हम जानते हैं सभी लोग कि फिच है या स्टैंडर्ड एंड पुअर है, या एक बड़ा कॉमन नेम है मूडी का, हम लोग सुनते होंगे, है ना, डीबीआरएस है. तो ये रेटिंग एजेंसी सॉवरेन रेटिंग करती हैं और ये कारपोरेट रेटिंग्स भी करती हैं, और ये इनकी रेटिंग्स को तरह तरह से यूज भी किया जाता है. जैसे हम कभी फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट के केस में बातचीत करते हैं तो दोज multinationals who are interested in investing some money abroad, they definitely request the rating agencies to advise them where should they be investing, or which economies constitute best potentials to reward them if they make investments in those economies. So ratings, sovereign ratings have got a relevance in the context of FDIs also. So that's a very important point. दूसरी बात, ऐसी कुछ रेटिंग एजेंसीज हमारे देश में भी हैं, हम सब लोगों ने उनके नाम सुने होंगे. क्रिसिल है, इकरा है ना. और अभी आप देखते होंगे कि ज्यादातर बैंक, प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक्स एंड पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स, उनके इकोनॉमिस्ट भी मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक पर्सपेक्टिव में अपनी बातचीत और अपनी समझ रखते हैं. जितने म्यूचुअल फंड्स हैं वो डेफिनेटली सॉवरेन परफॉर्मेंस के ऊपर इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे होते हैं. तो we must be understanding all these issues. तो growth rate एक बड़ा issue है, जबकि मुझे लगता है पर्सनली कि शायद ग्रोथ रेट को लेकर के पिछले 2 या 2.5 सालों में जितनी एंजाइटी हमारे यहाँ ऑब्जर्व की गई है, उतनी एंजाइटी की ग्रोथ रेट को लेकर के जरूरत नहीं होती है ना। मैं जो बात कह रहा हूँ, क्योंकि अपार्ट फ्रॉम ग्रोथ रेट इटसेल्फ, द वेरी क्वालिटी ऑफ ग्रोथ इज आल्सो वेरी वेरी रेलेवेंट फॉर इकोनॉमी. दैट्स वन थिंग. एंड इंटरनेशनल कंपैरिजन एट ए पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, that what is the possible or the best achievable growth rate at a point of time is very pertinent for an economy to be viewed in that context. So for example, as Ratan Tata ji very aptly said in the recent past कि साहब ये जो साल है 2020 का हमारे लिए अपनी हेल्थ को बचाने का है. हम ग्रोथ की टर्म्स में, रिकवरी की टर्म्स में बाद में बात करेंगे. और प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने भी इस देश के जो बातचीत की कि पहले जान है, और फिर उन्होंने कुछ दिन बाद जब लोगों ने इकोनॉमी को लेकर के अपनी चिंता व्यक्त की, देन ही सेड कि जान और जहान दोनों शब्द हैं. और फिर उन्होंने जब तीसरी बार लोगों को एड्रेस किया तो उनको ये कहना पड़ा कि जान और जहान दोनों लिए. व्हेन आई से, आई मीन कोविड-19 पर आप बात कर रहे हैं तो वहां जान पर बातचीत है. जब आप इकोनॉमिक आउटलुक पर बात करते हैं तो जहान पर बातचीत है, जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर के वर्ड्स में आया. राइट. तो ग्रोथ रेट एक चीज है, और पूरी दुनिया ऑब्जर्व कर रही है कि डिमांड के अंदर डिक्लाइन है, और डिमांड में डिक्लाइन की वजह से इंडस्ट्रीज अपनी कैपेसिटी पर नहीं चल पा रही, उनको अपने प्रोडक्शन रिड्यूस करने पड़े, और उसकी वजह से एम्प्लॉयमेंट सिनेरियो में प्रॉब्लम आए. और जब एम्प्लॉयमेंट सिनेरियो में प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, ग्रोथ का रेट स्लो डाउन कर रहा है, डिमांड में डिक्लाइन है, इंडस्ट्री फर्दर इन्वेस्टमेंट की तरफ नहीं जा रही, तो ऑब्वियसली इसके पॉलिटिकल इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम के लिए अपने इम्प्लीकेशंस हैं. मैंने लॉकडाउन पर कुछ बातचीत किया है. आई वुड नॉट, मैंने पहले ही कहा, बिकॉज द कंट्री हैड कम टू अ पास और अ सिचुएशन where the choice between the two, lockdown, continued lockdown, to reduce the impact or the effect of the disease and also to reduce the casualty in the country, it was one option. And economic continuance, guarantee of job, production, and if possible, a minimum possible and acceptable growth rate. इसको ensure करने के लिए, that was another option before us. We all know, आपने बातचीत की 20 लाख करोड़ के पैकेज की. I'll come to that. Right. सारी अर्थव्यवस्थाएं, हम जानते हैं कि ज्यादातर इकोनॉमीज, खासतौर से वेस्ट बेस्ड इकोनॉमीज जो हैं, केनेजियन फ्रेमवर्क पर काम करती हैं. वहां भी जो चॉइस है वो बिटवीन फिस्कल टूल्स एंड मॉनेटरी टूल्स, देयर इज अ चॉइस बिटवीन ऑप्टिंग फॉर दोस टूल्स. Which tools at a point of time should be opted for? And we all understand it very well that monetary tools, they try to supplement the measures taken by the fiscal policy makers of the country or the fiscal tools. उस लाइट में आप देखेंगे कि इंडिया में भी let's say both types of measures have been taken in the recent past. Right. Both types of measures have been taken. RBI के गवर्नर ने भी 2-3 बार आकर के लोगों को उन मेजर्स के बारे में बताया कि इंटरेस्ट रेट को लेकर के, SLR को लेकर के, कैश रिजर्व रेशियो को लेकर के, नॉन बैंकिंग फाइनेंसिंग कंपनीज को लेकर के जो उन्होंने रिलैक्सेशंस अनाउंस किए. So those were implemented in trenches or in installments. Similarly, Prime Minister came out with his own vision about the recovery of the economy, and he said, उसके ऊपर काफी देश में बातचीत भी चल रही है कि साहब जो 20 लाख करोड़ का उनका पैकेज है, how it should be viewed. There are few things which have to be understood, है ना. Analysis का एक there is a way to look at the analysis or a certain set of measures. The one way could be that treat every measure in isolation with other measures that have been announced previously. And the other way to look at the set of measures is that try to look at the entire set of measures in sync with each other. So I think Prime Minister's approach has been taking or talking about all those measures jointly, and this is how he has termed it as a 20 lakh crore package, in fact. But I would like to draw your attention towards few things which have been significantly introduced or are intended to be introduced, in fact. We have some time. मेरे पास कुछ समय है अभी. Can I continue for 5-10 minutes? Right. आपने notice किया होगा that there are few things, and I would like to invite your attention towards those dimensions. Moratorium announce हुए. Moratorium का मतलब है कि आपको कोई interest देना है, कोई आपने loan लिया था, उसका installment देना है. तो moratorium का मतलब है एक certain period of time, कुछ समय के लिए उस interest payment को या उस principal repayment को हम कुछ समय के लिए टाल दें या आगे बढ़ा दें. So moratorium has been announced, monetary measures, as I talked about, have been announced. There are measures which relate to ease of doing business in the country also, which are being implemented. And we know that country's rating in terms of ease of doing business has definitely improved several times, that we have improved it by more than 50-60 positions in the world, in fact. There are areas of concerns within that, है ना, और हम ये भी समझेंगे कि उसमें कुछ systemic hurdles हैं which need to be resolved in coming days also, but lot has already been done. इसी तरह से पूरे देश में स्वदेशी की बातचीत की गई और स्वदेशी को ध्यान में रखते हुए, ancillary industry को ध्यान में रखते हुए, I think measures related to MSME, that is micro, small and medium industries, they have been announced. And similarly, I mean, government wants that micro, small and medium industries also to come up, take a responsibility, and that is why their very definitions have also been improved, because their definitions were stagnant for a very long period of time. एक बड़ा measure जिसकी तरफ मैं I would like to invite your attention is that कि गवर्नमेंट ने खुद लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट किया, बोथ पब्लिक सेक्टर एंड प्राइवेट सेक्टर, कि लोगों को आप जॉब से मत निकालिए, राइट, एंड ट्राई टू कीप पेइंग देम. दैट्स अ बिग मेजर, because the government wanted to ensure that there is some stability in the system. People keep receiving some income or some wage which they can spend in the market, and there is lesser impact on their demand for the consumption also, which can definitely keep the whole economy resilient in the present circumstances also. So people have raised number of issues. मेरे पास मैंने कुछ papers study किए, लोगों का opinion भी देखा, and the kind of opinions which were appearing and which were sent to Prime Minister, which were sent to Finance Ministry, which was sent to RBI also. So number of people were saying number of things. When Prime Minister talked about 20 lakh crore package, everybody was shocked, because people were talking about 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakh crore packages. And when all these packages were taken together, then Prime Minister came out with his view on that it constituted much more than people had expected from the government, and it on the whole constituted. Of course, people can debate on it, that whether let's say 20 to 25% of it relates to monetary measures, easing of interest rates, introduction of moratoriums, right, and maybe acceptance of payment delay, acceptance of tax payments, or let's say filing of returns, relaxation in filing of GST returns, etc., etc. But if you look at the size of the economy, है ना, दो तीन चीजें important हैं और वो हमें ठीक से समझना भी चाहिए. One thing is therefore sure. Out of 70 years after independence, the economy has suffered from very high fiscal deficit for more than 60-65 years. हमारा जो fiscal deficit है वो 5% 7% नॉर्मल रहा करता था. And if we talk about deleting the, let's say, the non-transparent part of it, then there were occasions that our fiscal deficit went to the extent of 8 to 10% also. And we all know there have been several years in the economy in the past when inflation was much more than 10%. The very concern for the people in the country used to be, shall we achieve a rate of inflation which is less than 10% or not? Now, for last several years, 6 or 8 years, we are in a phase, वो इकोनॉमी जिसके अंदर फिस्कल डेफिसिट 5-6% से नीचे नहीं आता था. We could achieve 3.7% last year. We were talking about containing it to 3.3 to 3.4% in the current fiscal year, right? अभी जो पेंडेमिक की वजह से जो एक्स्ट्रा मनी की गवर्नमेंट को जरूरत है, क्योंकि हम सब समझते हैं कि टैक्स की फॉर्म में गवर्नमेंट के रेवेन्यूज उतने अच्छे नहीं होंगे और प्रोडक्शन की वजह से भी रेवेन्यू का लॉस होगा. लेकिन ऐसे समय में इकोनॉमी को हमें बूस्ट भी देना है, डिमांड को भी रेज करना है, और डिमांड, कंज्यूमर्स का डिमांड भी रेज करना है, और इंटरेस्ट रेट को लो रखते हुए इन्वेस्टमेंट का भी डिमांड हमें रेज करना है. कीपिंग ऑल दोज थिंग्स इन व्यू, आई वाज वर्किंग ऑन ए स्टैटिस्टिक्स की, और वो स्टूडेंट्स के लिए अच्छा रहेगा मैं समझता हूँ जानना, कि करंटली इंडिया का जीडीपी जो है $3.2 ट्रिलियन है ना, और जीडीपी के टर्म्स में, एब्सोल्यूट साइज ऑफ जीडीपी के टर्म्स में इंडिया 5th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी है वर्ल्ड में. लेकिन जैसे ही हम इस जीडीपी को परचेजिंग पावर पैरिटी में कन्वर्ट करते हैं तो ये 11.3 ट्रिलियन US डॉलर्स हो जाता है. तो 76 रुपीस पर डॉलर के एक्सचेंज रेट से इसको मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं तो 11.32 का मतलब है 860 ट्रिलियन रुपीस और 860 लाख करोड़. नाउ that's the size of the economy. और इंडिया 5th लार्जेस्ट से परचेजिंग पावर पैरिटी के बेसिस के ऊपर यूएस और चाइना के बाद 3rd लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी बन जाता है. तो जिन मेजर्स को हम दुनिया में देख रहे हैं, चाहे यूएस के मेजर्स को देख रहे हैं या यूके के मेजर्स को देख रहे हैं, उनके पास जो पॉलिसी ऑप्शंस हैं वो इन टर्म्स में व्यू करेंगे कि उनका फिस्कल, हम एब्सोल्यूट साइज से ना देखें, हम ये देखें कि वो जीडीपी के किस प्रोपोर्शन में जा रहा है, उससे फिस्कल डेफिसिट कितना होगा, और वो इकोनॉमी के किस प्रोपोर्शन में कैसे एक्ट करने जा रहा है. तो मुझे लगता है कि resilience in an economy is very, very important during this time period. इकोनॉमी में हम लोग डिबेट कर सकते हैं इस इशू के ऊपर कि 2020-21 के अंदर व्हाट वुड बी द पॉसिबल ग्रोथ रेट फॉर इंडिया. एंड you see every 15 days you must be noticing that rating agencies are re-looking at their own, let's say, predictions about the growth rate in the economy. And now some have started to say there was an opinion that India's growth rate will decelerate by 1%, and then came 2%, and then somebody said that it will come in this current fiscal, it will grow by 2.8%. And recently we are listening that India will grow by 1.9% or something like that. And there has come a statement also that there may not be a growth, and there might be, let's say, India might grow by minus 0.5% in the current fiscal year also. The issue of importance is not that. हम जब भी इस तरह से व्यू करते हैं तो हम एब्सोल्यूटिज्म की तरफ जा रहे हैं. The world always tends to look at the relative statistics and relative viewpoints. ना पूरी दुनिया जो कर 10-20% से, I was reading about US economy, उसके बारे में लोगों का प्रेडिक्शन है कि कम से कम 15 से 20% से उनका प्रोडक्शन गिरेगा. तो वी हैव टू लुक इन दोस टर्म्स कि दुनिया में क्या हुआ और उसके कंपैरिजन में हमारे यहाँ क्या हो रहा है, हम अपने आप को इस क्राइसिस के पीरियड में कितना बचा पा रहे हैं, और बचाने के बाद यदि हम 2-3-4-5% ग्रो कर पाते हैं. बिकॉज देयर इज अनदर इंटरेस्टिंग स्टडी व्हिच आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर विद यू, एंड दैट हैज कम. सब लोगों का विश्वास ही होता है कि जहां लॉकडाउन ज्यादा होते हैं या ज्यादा स्ट्रिक्टनेस रहता है इनिशियल फेज में, वहां इकोनॉमी की ग्रोथ के ऊपर डीप इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है. बट देयर आर रिसेंट स्टडीज which have done some modeling on that, and they have come out with the result कि जहाँ डिसीज का कंट्रोल अच्छा हो जाता है इनिशियल फेज के अंदर, शुरू के 70, 80, 90 दिनों के अंदर डिसीज का कंट्रोल हो जाता है, तो वो लोग रिकवरी भी उतनी ही फास्ट कर रहे होते हैं. तो the whole situation depends on when we would get relieved of this disease and how fast can we make an effort to recover in an economic, so far as economic scenario is concerned. तो मुझे लगता है कि जितना इंडिया ने डिसिप्लिन लॉकडाउन के अंदर इनिशियल फेज में शुरू के 60-70 दिन में फॉलो किया है, मेरी अपेक्षा है, माय एक्सपेक्टेशन इज दैट इन डेज टू कम जो कंट्री के पॉलिसी मेकर्स हैं, इंडस्ट्री है, बिजनेस पीपल हैं, इवन लेबर है, या you and we as the part of the intellectual community of the country, हम इसी मैसेज को स्प्रेड करें कि साहब देश को रेजिलिएंट होना है, जो भी सिचुएशन है उससे लड़ने के लिए तैयार रहना है. कल रिकवरी की जब स्टेज आएगी तो we have to perform, we have to outperform all others and perform to the best of our potentials. दुनिया में 20 एग्जाम्पल हैं. I have very little time here to share with you those examples also. Otherwise, I would have preferred to share an example of Taiwanese economy in this context. So I'll be leaving it for next time. In fact, let me conclude by saying, है ना, आपने देखा होगा कि जब भी क्राइसिस होता है तो अपना बचाव पहले किया जाता है. ट्रम्प का पूरा इलेक्शन जो था वो यूएस के वीजा कैसे दिए जाएंगे, किन लोगों को दिया जाएगा, किन लोगों को देश में एंट्री दी जाएगी, किन को नहीं दी जाएगी, इस बात पर कंटेस्ट हुआ. आने वाले समय में भी पूरी दुनिया सोच रही होगी कि अपने देश के लोगों को एम्प्लॉयमेंट देना है या वी वुड गिव एन ओपन एंट्री टू ऑल पॉसिबल let's say skilled manpower from different parts of the country. I will not enter into a debate right now. Should we be permitting the physical capital first and allow the human capital afterwards or not? Because there are 3 capitals to be considered. You set aside or you leave for a minute land aspect. So capital, labor and technology are 3 important capitals, and policy about all those 3 kinds of capitals has to be very seriously considered. And every nation, we understand it very well, every nation would talk about the issues of its own interest. If capital suits it more, it would talk about the mobility of capital. If labor suits its interest, it would talk about the mobility of labor factor. And if technology suits interest, they'll talk about the mobility of the technology factor. So all these factors we have to understand very, very well. मैंने नए भारत के ऊपर बातचीत करने के लिए कहा था. हम सब लोग समझते हैं कि देश की पॉपुलेशन 135 करोड़ है इस समय, है ना. मैं 2019 में जो स्टैटिस्टिक्स आई, 21 के सेंसस में जो स्टैटिस्टिक्स आएगी, हम सब लोगों को पता चलेगा. कुछ लोग 136 to 137 करोड़ पॉपुलेशन कहते हैं, बट 2019 का एस्टिमेट है which talks about 135.4 crore population in the country. And 50% population is below the age of 25. And 65% population is below the age of 35 years. Young India hai, and this is why it is aspirational India. जो यूथ है उसकी एक्सपेक्टेशंस थोड़ी ज्यादा होती हैं अपने आप से भी और देश के पॉलिसी मेकर्स से भी और देश के पॉलिटिशियंस से. वो एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं दो चीजों की तरफ. आपका आई वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट योर अटेंशन. वो चाहते हैं कि चीजें जल्दी से हों, उनमें देरी भी ना हो, क्योंकि यूथफुलनेस का मतलब ही वो है कि दे डोंट वांट टाइम टू बी वेस्टेड. एंड आई बिलीव that this country, the kind of population composition that it has got at present, it really gets converted into our working also. We become very quick decision makers also, right? And that is how we would be performing in every possible situation. And that is why there is a point of caution also. And I have said, we are young India, we are aspirational India, but somewhere we are impatient India also. So we have to understand this dimension, and we have to behave like a very matured society. तो मुझे लगता है हम पूरे सिचुएशन को, इंटरनेशनल सिचुएशन को, अपने आप को, अपनी जो कैपेबिलिटी है, जो कैपेसिटी है, उसको अच्छी तरह से समझते हुए परफॉर्म करें. मुझे लगता है आज का जो भारत है, विच इज नया भारत, ये काफी सेंसिटिव है। इनको फर्दर एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं। इट इज वेरी सेंसिटिव, इट इज वेरी सेंसिबल, इट इज वेरी साइंटिफिक आल्सो, है ना। इट इज रीजन बेस्ड, it is aspirational, and I've said it is bit impatient also, but at the same time I find it that it is turning out to be honest and transparent also. And this is how India has to be, and this is how aspirations of entire India, including the majority of India, that is youth at the moment, can be achieved. With these words, I would like to stop here itself, and I would like to listen from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for imparting such a very valuable information on economic outlook for the Naya Bharat. Now, I would like to request respected Dr. Mayank Soni, sir, Registrar of Bhakta Kavi Narsim Mehta University, for the presidential speech. Soni, sir.
नमस्ते, थैंक यू सर। सबसे पहले मैं आप सबको बताना चाहता हूं, हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी के कुलपति प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर चेतन त्रिवेदी सर, जो इस वेबिनार में उपस्थित रहना चाहते थे, पर एक शिक्षण मंत्री के साथ में एक अगत्य की मीटिंग के जरूरत पे उनको हाजिर रहना नहीं रहेगा। उन्होंने हमें ब्लेसिंग दिया है, और इस वेबिनार के लिए पूरी टीम को उन्होंने कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट किया है। कुलपति सर, प्रोफेसर डोडिया, प्रोफेसर वीरेंद्र कुमार मल्होत्रा सर, मेंबर सेक्रेटरी इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ सोशल साइंस रिसर्च न्यू दिल्ली, और फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, व्यूअर्स, पार्टिसिपेंट्स, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं, सर ने बहुत अच्छी तरह आपको समझाया है। प्रोफेसर वीरेंद्र कुमार मल्होत्रा already understand and said that what is the dimension COVID-19, economic outlook and नया भारत, वो तीनों के बारे में उन्होंने हमें यहाँ जानकारी दी है। सर ने बताया है, बहुत ठीक है। सर ने पूरी तरह से पूरा स्टैटिस्टिकल व्यू हमारे सामने रखा है। उन्होंने दिखाया गया है कि आज के दिनों में कोविड-19 की जो महामारी है, उसके बिना पूरा विश्व 190 देश जो इन्फेक्टेड हुआ है, कितनी सारी मृत्यु हो गई है, सभी लोग असरग्रस्त हुए हैं। इन सभी परिस्थिति में भारत देश की जो स्थिति है वो काफी अच्छी है। सर ने बताया, बिल्कुल ठीक बताया है कि पूरे विकसित देशों की जानकारी देखिए कि पूरी विकसित देशों की कंपैरिजन में देखा जाए तो भारत देश में हेल्थ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जो है वो बहुत कम है। हमारे यहाँ वेंटिलेटर्स वगैरह जो भी है उसकी कमी है, पर भारत हारा नहीं है। भारत ने इस सिचुएशन में भी पूरी जिम्मेदारी के साथ और सहयोग के साथ, सभी के सहयोग के साथ इस महामारी के सामने एक लड़त शुरू की है, और उस लड़त में हम काफी हद तक पूरी तरह से सफल हुए हैं। जो सर ने आंकड़े बताए हैं, स्टैटिस्टिकल व्यू बताए हैं, उससे हम देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे हम लोग जो भी दिखाया गया है उसके सामने से, उसके लिए सर ने बताया इस तरह से कि हमारी जो इकोनॉमी है वो पूरी तरह से एक सिचुएशन पे जा रही है। यहाँ पे हमें सभी का सहयोग मिलना चाहिए, सभी को समझना चाहिए, और देश के प्रधानमंत्री ने एक 20 लाख करोड़ पैकेज का भी जो घोषणा की है वो भी अच्छी है, और अर्थव्यवस्था तंत्र जो स्टेबल होने को है, और कई सभी प्रॉब्लम्स है, मुश्किलियां है जो सर ने बताया है, और हम सभी जानते हैं, पूरे भारतवासी जानते हैं। और इसीलिए जो भी है प्रोडक्शन की बात है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की जो भी बात है, फैक्ट्रीज की बात है, उद्योगों की बात है, लोन की बात है, टैक्सेस की बात है, सभी में पूरी इकोनॉमी में असर होता है। उसी तरह से हमें अपने सहयोग के साथ और अपने पूरी डिटेल्स के साथ हम देखना चाहते हैं कि पूरी तरह से सर ने जो बताया है वो हम समझ रहे हैं, पूरे भारतवासी समझ रहे हैं। और सर ने बोला कि ये नया भारत है, यंग है, और इसी भारत को अपनी तरह से आगे बढ़ना है और अपना पूरा सहयोग देना है। और मैं इस वेबिनार में जो कोविड-19 इकोनॉमिक आउटलुक फॉर द नया भारत, उसमें सर ने जो बताया है, प्रोफेसर डोडिया ने जो बताया है, इसके लिए हम इसलिए बात कर रहे हैं कि ये सारी जानकारी के लिए स्टैटिस्टिकल आंकड़ों के ऊपर आधारित हम सब ने सब समझा है और हम एक नए भारत के निर्माण में और इसी तरह से अपना सहयोग देते रहेंगे, सरकार को पूरी तरह से मदद करते रहेंगे, सहयोग देते रहेंगे और हम एकजुट होकर आगे चलते रहेंगे। इसी तरह से एक नए भारत की संरचना होगी और हम सब एक अच्छी तरह से पूरा सहयोग करके इस देश में अपना सहयोग दे पाएंगे और देश को आगे बढ़ने में और विकासशील देशों के बारे में जो सर ने बताया कि हम ऐसी लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी, थर्ड लार्जेस्ट, यूएस, चाइना और फिर भारत के नाम आता है कि थर्ड इकोनॉमिक लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी है। तो इसी तरह अपना पूरा सहयोग देते हुए इस इकोनॉमी में आगे बढ़ते रहेंगे। और इस कार्यक्रम में प्रोफेसर वीरेंद्र कुमार जो हाजिर रहे हैं, उनको अपने कुलपति और विश्वविद्यालय के हम उसका आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir, for your valuable presence and motivate us for this webinar. At this stage, I want to snatch the opportunity to say that the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Chetan Trivedi, sir, always motivate us to do something extraordinary and innovative, and he always put a stress on use of technology to share the knowledge. And I'm glad to inform all of you that this is the 7th webinar of our university. Now, I would like to request Dr. Dinesh Kumar Chavda, Assistant Professor at Department of Commerce and Management, to deliver a speech to show gratitude towards all.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. D.R. Chavda. I am here to present a vote of thanks for today's webinar, COVID-19 Economic Outlook, the Naya Bharat. It's a pleasure for me. So gratitude towards all behalf of Department of Commerce and Management of Bhakta Kavi Narsim Mehta University. First of all, I would to like to show my gratitude towards Honorable Member Secretary IC SSR New Delhi, Professor V.K. Malhotra sir, for imparting such a wonderful knowledge who become part of our webinars, even through his busy schedules. I show my gratitude towards our Honorables Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Chetan Trivedi sir, who always inspire us to do something unique and extraordinary. I show my thankfulness towards respected Registrar Mayank Soni sir for his presence even after his busy schedules. I show my thankfulness towards our HOD sir, Dr. Bhavsi Dodia sir, for arranging an informative webinar, COVID-19 Economic Outlook for the Naya Bharat. I also show my thankfulness towards my colleagues Vinit sir, Anitaba Gohil, and Om Joshi, the technical support to make this webinar successful. And last but not least, I show my gratitude towards all the participants, academic researchers, faculties, and students who joined us through the wave of digital platform. And I am glad to inform you that we received 2,000 registration to join the webinar, and at present 854 participants joined this webinar through the platform Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook. Thank you for all of your warm response to make this event successful. Thank you all.
Here we
Thank you, sir.
complete our session.